Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Milton here doing another video. This time I'm bringing you part 3 of my Clone Wars story arc review. This time I'm going to do it on the Nightsisters. For those who are Clone Wars fans and knows of the Nightsisters, their trilogy starts, I want to say, around mid-season 3. I'm looking at the episode list. The first episode is 312 Nightsisters, 313 Monsters, 314 Witches of the Mist. And that trilogy and that story pretty much expands throughout the remainder of the Clone Wars series, but we'll start with the main trilogy that kicked it off. So pretty much what happens in this trilogy, in this Clone Wars story arc, is that Ventress, who is Count Dooku's apprentice last assassin, she's grown very powerful at this point, and Sidious, Emperor Palpatine, starts noticing this, and so he commands Count Dooku to say, "Hey, you need to get rid of her. She's becoming too powerful, and I fear that you're trying to train an apprentice to overthrow me." He's like, "No, master, she's my skilled assassin." He's like, "Do it." He pretty much force chokes Dooku to do it. So Dooku does it. So he decides to try to assassinate Ventress. Doesn't work. Ventress escapes. Then she decides to go travel back to Dathomir, where she's originally from, to the Nightsisters, and they also go to the leader, Mother Talzin. Now, Mother Talzin is a witch who's very powerful in sorcery, and I think pretty much what George Lucas and Dave Filoni tries to go with this. I think she's familiar with the Force, and her power, I think, is linked to that as well. So I think that's my interpretation of it. If I'm wrong, let me know. But so Mother Talzin decides, okay, you want revenge on Count Dooku for trying to kill you? I'm gonna send you and 2 other, assassins. I'm gonna give you Jedi lightsabers to think that they're Jedi attacking him, and I'm gonna cloak you with like an invisibility spell. So when they go to attack Count Dooku at his planet, they don't kill him, but they damage him somewhat. They don't hurt him, but they do their job to the point where he thinks that Jedi tried to attack them. So Mother Talzin said, "Hey, this is all part of the plan." Dooku decides to seek out a new apprentice, so he goes to Mother Talzin and said, "Hey, I need a new apprentice/warrior." She's like, "Great, I'll give you one of our males." Now this leads us into the second episode of the trilogy, which is titled Monsters. Mother Talzin decides to seek out one of the males of her planet of Dathomir. Now how this works is, they have Ventress and the women of Dathomir that are like the alphas. And then the men of Dathomir, like the betas, they're the ones that are more subservient to the women. And so they go to the male side of the planet. They get a guy named Savage Opress, who happens to be, wait for it, the brother of Darth Maul. Okay? So she puts him under a spell. She says, "Okay, I'll make you strong. But you will always work for me. You may be working for Dooku, but you're going to work for me." And pretty much how that story rolls at, Dooku, has him. He tries to train him into the dark side. It works at first, and later episode it shows that pretty much Savage Opress is really working for the Nightsisters, and Ventress comes back, reawakens him. They fight Dooku. They both can't beat him, and they go their own ways. And then Savage Opress is told by Mother Talzin to go look for his brother Darth Maul, who happened to survive being cut in half by Obi-Wan and the Phantom Menace. So that trilogy, pretty much that storyline wraps itself up, and then they visit it later. But this is why I like this particular arc, because you get to see more ways of the Force and more like the sorcery of Star Wars. That side of it we don't really get to see much until we pretty much get into this series of episodes. It was cool. It was cool to see that Mother Talzin, was introduced, because she's a new character that we didn't know about. It expands the universe of Star Wars. We got to see that Ventress is a broken person like anyone else, which is awesome to see. We got to see Savage Opress, and we got to discover that Darth Maul is still alive, which is awesome, because people were pissed that George Lucas killed off Darth Maul too early in the Phantom Menace, and turns out he wrote that wrong by bringing him back in the Clone Wars, which is awesome. And now he's back in Rebels, but we'll go from there. We'll talk about that another day. But nah, man, like, this story arc is tits. It's awesome. I feel like this is, again, one of the better story arcs in this whole series. Again, George Lucas and Dave Filoni did a great job of telling the story. You can't really, be pissed at all about this story arc. It flows well. It's a tight story. It gets to the point. The Jedi are overwhelmed at this point. They think, that it's a monster that's out there titled, one of the episodes called Monster. Obi-Wan, you start to see his character a little bit because he thinks, Darth Maul is back. He's like, no, I killed him. So you see him a little bit flustered. And it's cool to see that, Star Wars is going into a different direction. And again, I love the Clone Wars because of this reason. I love that it expanded the universe. It opened us up to more things about Star Wars, which is awesome. So yeah, again, this arc is a must see. It's a go see this mofo. Watch it because it's great. Just those three. If you're a big fan of sorcery in Star Wars and even just the Force in general, watch these 3 episodes because it will just open your mind up to something new, and that's why I enjoy it so much. So there you have it, folks. My review of the Nightsisters trilogy, and hopefully I'll talk about that more down the road because that does lead into other series arcs throughout Star Wars Clone Wars. So my review of it. Have you seen this trilogy? Are you going to watch it? Do you like it or not? Yes or no? Leave your comments down below. Like I always say, comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Hey, shawty, what it is? What up? Hey, shawty, what it is? What up? Hey, shawty, what it is? Little buddy, what you on? Some violent shit. Two-stepping, laid back, still.